Operation Rainfall, the voice of many Nintendo fans who had a strong desire to bring multiple JRPGs to the Wii. One of the aforementioned games was Xenoblade Chronicles, arguably the most popular out of each title in Operation Rainfall, so much so that Nintendo of America will be the ones to publish it. Xenoblade Chronicles became an instant classic and would pioneer the Xenoblade series. Unfortunately, Xenoblade Chronicles would go under the radar for me, and when I did find out about the game, its cost had risen to a pretty high price and it was just too much I was willing to pay at the time. I tried grabbing the new Nintendo 3DS release, but once again I was late to the party. Fast forward to 2020, which had been a pretty quiet year for Nintendo until they announced a remake of Xenoblade Chronicles. Man, oh man, was I excited for this. I was finally able to get my hands on this beloved game and I was going to be at my local GameStop day one to buy it. Nothing would stand in my way this time. Now that I've gotten the game and I've had some hands-on time with it, I wanted to make this video to share some of my first impressions with you guys. So without further ado, let's get into the video. The first thing I want to talk about would have to be the combat, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So you will use an auto attack, and while auto attacking you will build up your arts. Your arts can be used in multiple different ways, whether you're decreasing enemy stats. If you use an art on a certain position on an enemy, you can do increased damage. You can do debuffs on enemies as well, as mentioned earlier. These arts can also be leveled up, so you'll primarily be sticking with most of these throughout the game. I'm about 35 hours in and I'm still using most of the same arts I've had since about 5 to 10 hours. But you will acquire new arts, so if you want to change it, you're more than welcome to. As mentioned earlier, when using a certain art, if you attack an enemy in a certain position, it can do more damage. Now, your arts will notify you when this is ready to be done or if you're in the right position to do so. Shulk in particular wields the Monado. Now with the Monado, that allows Shulk to have abilities that are exclusive to the Monado, and as you progress through the story, Shulk will acquire new abilities that will really help in combat, especially in the latter half. These can also be leveled up as well. Another thing I really liked in the combat was the chain attacks. Now, once you get to a certain point, you will see on the left-hand side of your screen a blue meter building up. This will allow you to perform a chain attack. A chain attack is essentially an attack that your whole team will utilize, so Shulk or whoever you're playing as will start with an art. Once he's used his talent art, it'll bounce to the next character, and you can continuously build this up if you can keep it going. It was really fun when I was in a group of enemies and I was figuring out when I should use my chain attack and how I should use it, what position should I put my team in so I can best utilize their talent arts during that battle. Overall, I'm finding the combat to be extremely enjoyable and I am really liking what I'm seeing so far. The next subject I want to touch on a little bit would have to be the story. And I have got to say, this is one of the most engaging narratives I've ever played in a JRPG, hands down. This story is so gripping in so many ways. I found myself just constantly trying to dig out as much as I can about the game's narrative, so much so in fact that I even changed the game to casual mode so I could fly through combat and just find out more of what's going on in this world. I've never done that in a game. Not once have I ever dismissed everything else but the game's narrative. But that's just how intriguing and just how good this game's plot is. Characters are also extremely memorable and just fun to be around. I really enjoy the banter between Ryan and Ricky all the time. I really like how confident and how Dunban sort of acts like the leader of the group, and he's always the hero and he's always the wise one essentially, and I like how he kind of puts everyone in the right direction, and I like the character growth that you see in Shulk progressing throughout the game. You really start to feel like this is a tight-knit family that they're growing together. It's very nice to see, and it's really keeping me attached to the game. I love the connection that all of the party members share. It's really nice. One thing I really haven't enjoyed all that much would have to be the side quests. Now, while I've done quite a bit of them, most of them are very meaningless and pretty tedious at times. Most of them will come down to pretty much fetch quests, go here, defeat that monster quests, things of that nature, and there are so many of them, and they are just littered throughout this game. I'm, like I said, 35 hours in, and I've done about 100, and there's still so much more I can do. But I mean, The nice thing about them is this is a huge game. This is a very, very expansive game, so they give you an excuse to kind of go out and explore and find new areas you may not have found if you didn't accept that quest. And without a doubt, it's the easiest way to gain experience in Xenoblade Chronicles. The last thing I want to touch on would have to be the music. Now, I'm a huge music fan. I love video game music. I love the composers that accompany it. I love most video game soundtracks, and I have to say, Xenoblade Chronicles really knocks it out of the park, and we have Yoko to thank for that, which if you guys don't know her work, she's worked on Street Fighter, the Mario and Luigi series, and the one and only Kingdom Hearts. I don't think I've heard one song in this game that I really don't like. Pretty much everything I've heard so far I have thoroughly enjoyed. So much so that I've even found myself just putting the controller down just to listen to it for a little bit. I decided I'd make this video pretty brief. I really just wanted to share some of my initial impressions with you guys. Xenoblade Chronicles is a pretty lengthy game, and I planned on trying to get a full review out, but honestly it would take me a while, especially working full-time. I don't think I could get one out before I wanted to go on to the next video. So I thought I'd give you guys, some of my first impressions and just share with you guys how I'm feeling so far, and for the most part, I am really enjoying this game. If you're a fan of the JRPG genre, I would highly recommend picking this up. Without a doubt in my mind, you will really thank yourself in the long run. This game is definitely deserving of the legacy and reputation it's made for itself. So with all that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.